next, go down. Now, starting with what the issue is, they're talking about specialty occupation, and they're saying what we submitted to show that the job is a specialty occupation. They're saying we submitted, of course, a description of the duties, the LCA, a brief information about your organization's product and services, um, and they're saying that USCIS does not use the job title, but they look at the actual duties to figure out whether a position is a specialty occupation or not. And they're saying that we've provided a list of duties, but those list of duties are from another website which is called ONET, which is what we usually use um, to guide us to for the duties for any position. And they're saying that's not sufficient. And in addition, they would need go down. They would need a detailed statement explaining the duties, the percentage of time spent on each duty, education and experience required um, to to perform those duties, and how the education relates to the position. This is all the criteria for specialty occupation. So you see qualifying criteria, a bachelor's degree or its equivalent is normally required, is a minimum requirement for entry into that particular position. The degree requirement is common in the industry, in parallel positions among similar organizations. So it's common in the industry to require a bachelor's degree. You can't say that only you require a bachelor's degree. If it is not common in the industry to require a bachelor's degree, then you have to show that the duties are so complex, your particular duties for your job are so complex and different from other companies that you require a bachelor's degree, even though others may not. Um, the employer normally requires a degree, so you as an employer have previously filed a H1 for a market research analyst, and you've required a degree in that situation also. And again, as I said, if none of those hold good, then you have to show the complexity of the duties and show how or why a bachelor's degree is required in this particular scenario. You can go down further. So we will describe one by one all the criteria. And the first criteria is the degree is normally a minimum requirement. Go down further. So degree is a normal requirement. This you can see by they're saying go to Occupational Outlook Handbook, um, which is basically a publication of the Labor Department. And if in that book it says that it's an online book, so you can just go to OH and it should come up on Google. In that particular book, you go look up market research analyst, and if it says how to become one, if it says that a bachelor's degree in marketing is required, like a bachelor's degree in a specific field should be required, not just a BA in arts. So if a bachelor's degree in a specific field or several specific related fields are required, then then we can show that it's a specialty occupation. So that's one way of showing it. So we usually quote the passage from OOH, which shows that. If we don't have that in favor, sometimes we may not. Maybe the OOH will say that a bachelor's degree in several fields, unrelated fields, is required. Then we use the other criteria to show that it's a specialty occupation. Um, so yeah, so that's one way of doing it. Even sometimes the OOH may not even have that job title because they don't necessarily have all the job titles. In which case, then we won't be able to use that particular OH to show that specialty occupation, that the job is a specialty occupation. The next one is degree is common to the industry. This is usually shown by advertisements. So if you go to Dice or you go to Monster or you go to any other job sites and you print out showing that for a market research analyst, other companies are requiring a bachelor's in economics or a bachelor's in marketing, and maybe a BBA or an MBA in marketing. That is definitely proof. We try to show that they qualify based on all the elements rather than just showing one element. It's always important that you show as many elements as possible, right? So we try to show all if we can. So they are giving some guidelines as to the date, how the job postings should be printed out, the date and source of the job posting should be like if you're using dice, then make sure the date and the source that the dice posting dice is visible on the printout, and the posting should have a detailed description of the duties, the education required. It should say that a bachelor's degree is required in a specific field, the name of the company that's offering the job, etc. So all that information should be there in the job posting. And also, you have to show that the job postings you're submitting are the company is similar in size and nature to your company. So if it's say I don't know, American Express, and you are a small company with one employee, then there's no similarity between the size of American Express and your company. So you have to show that the company is, at least maybe 5 employees or 10 employees, which will be a small business, which might be similar to your company. Usually, job postings won't have, some job postings have the size of the company, but most won't. And we usually go to LinkedIn to see if we can find more information, or the website of the company to see if we can find more information about the company with reference to their size, and then we submit that. And also the nature of the business. If it's the same industry, that even better. If it's a different kind of industry, then it doesn't hold as much weight, right? So because we're trying to show a similar kind of business. Also, another way of showing that um, it's common in the industry is maybe you can get letters from other companies that are like yours, that the companies that if they can give a letter saying that they have in the past hired a person with a bachelor's degree in marketing for a market research analyst, then that would definitely be uh, something to some way, a way of showing that it's common in the industry. Of course, the letter has to be signed, and the signator has to say who he is and how he has this information. Like, I'm the president of the company, and therefore I know that we have hired XYZ. If you have hired someone in your own company, then just submit the W-2 of that person, submit the degree copies to show that you have hired a market research analyst in the same position. You can also get an industry expert, like a professor, uh, in a a marketing professor, a person who's teaching uh, maybe in business school and is teaching marketing, to show that the position of a market research analyst, it's common in the industry to have a bachelor's degree for such a person. So then you would submit an expert opinion evaluation. You would submit the resume of that evaluator, of that professor, to show their credentials. So that's another way of submitting, showing that it's common in the industry. Go down. The other one is the position is complex and unique. So if you're not able to show, excuse me, if you're not able to show the other criterias, and if it's not common in the industry, but if your particular job is complex enough to require a bachelor's degree, or even if it's common in the industry, remember you want to hit as many points as you can. You should still show that the position is complex and unique and therefore requires a bachelor's degree. And this can be done by giving a job description, showing what the complexities are, having a table to show each job and show, how your degree in bachelor's is related to that job and why it's required for that particular job, why a particular subject that you did in your degree is related to that particular job. And here also you can use an expert opinion evaluation. The job description will be evaluated by a professor, and he will describe the complexity of it and why a bachelor's degree is required in this particular scenario. Go further down. Um, so the next one would be employer normally requires a degree, and I've kind of covered this. If you have previously hired a market research analyst, then you can submit their W-2 and you can submit their degree copies. You can also submit an org chart showing, your hierarchy and staffing levels, and showing the educational experience requirements for the positions that you already have. And you can submit copies of present and past job postings that you have posted, like advertisements that you have placed maybe on your website, or maybe on Dice, etc., on different websites, showing that you have advertised for a market research position and you require a bachelor's degree in a specific field. Go further down. So, in order to show that you have hired a person before, you can list the number of employees that you've hired most recently. You can submit their pay records, as I said. You can submit their degrees and transcripts, and the org chart to show, where they're placed in the company. So these are a few things that you can show if you've already hired someone or if you've advertised to hire someone. The next point is, as I was saying, nature of the duties are so specific and complex that a bachelor's degree is required. We've kind of talked about it earlier a little bit, so in this RFE they're repeating it again, and which they often do. So as long as we've touched it one time, it's fine. You don't have to, repeat it just simply because it's repeated in the RFE. But they're just giving some more information about it as to what documentary evidence can be submitted in this case. So, like what we said, you have to submit an explanation of the duties, not just list the duties, but submit what the duties mean and give examples of what it means to do that, perform that particular duty in your company, right? So give real life examples of those duties, how you perform them in your company. The more specific you are, the better your RFE response is. Go down further. Um, and then last, you also you'll have to look at the beneficiary's qualifications. Um, Now, one of the of a specialty occupation is that the beneficiary should have a bachelor's degree in that specific field, specific related field. So in this in the case of a market research analyst, the beneficiary should have a bachelor's in marketing or economics. So that those are related fields to a market research analyst. And to show that, you might, if you have a US degree, then you just submit that. Go further down. If you have a foreign degree, then you'll have to get an evaluation done of your foreign degree. And you usually, again, approach the evaluators to get an evaluation done to show that your degree is related to, is equivalent to a US bachelor's in marketing degree. Sometimes you might have a degree which is unrelated, but you might have work experience which is related. So 3 years of work experience is equivalent to 1 year of college. So you would then submit a work experience evaluation to show that you have, the relevant qualifications for the job, and you'll get, the evaluation will then say that you have a bachelor's in, uh, equivalent to a bachelor's in marketing with your education and work experience combined. Go further down. Um, yeah. So this is all again repeating documents to show beneficiary completed the bachelor's degree, uh, that the bachelor's degree is required for the position. You can go further down. You see, there's a lot of repetition in these kind of, and then all this is talking about instructions on how to get an evaluation. If you don't want to get an evaluation from an expert evaluation from an evaluation services, then you can request USCIS also to do an evaluation, or you can do the evaluation yourself. So go further down. This is all instructions on that. You can continue going down. They're saying USCIS can also do the evaluation for you. if you send them the documentation. And I think that's it. That's it for the specialty occupation RFEs. Don't forget to subscribe to our videos if you like what you see. Also, give us a thumbs up and share the video with your family and friends. Thank you.